that pays the dues. So in other words, it is the retail company that charges the tariff operating in the state in the ring-fenced area. So let me just so that I can just put it in a simpler way. So if and before I say that, it's also good to mention that we licensed the first retail company in Nigeria. I didn't do research to know whether it's the first in Africa. So I think you should be clapping to that too. We licensed the first company in Nigeria, retail company, and I think I saw one of the representatives here. It's still smiling at me. Yeah, so in case you are wondering whether FIT, yeah. So it's just a few days ago, so it's still hot on the news. So you can check that out. So in case you are wondering whether this is possible and whether it can be done, somebody is already on an advanced stage on it. So what we are saying is the example I wanted to give. So if in this facility now that we get a license in this center to deliver electricity in this area, we convert from whatever source and we transmit through the 33 kVs and 11 kVs to this place, and we deliver electricity here. The tariff that will be charged here is the tariff approved by the regulator. So that means the retail company applies for a tariff, a distribution tariff with the regulator. So we'll come to whether it will be cheap. It's one of the slides. We'll go there. The ERC charges the tariff, so he applies for the tariff, just like a disco applies for tariff. So whatever it takes to deliver electricity to that place, all the components, basic components of tariff going into review, making sure that the retail company recovers fully, just like a disco. That is the idea. Now, inside that tariff, just like you have all the components, the generation component of the tariff, generation costs, the transmission costs, component of the tariff, distribution costs, component of the tariff, you also have the that the tariff you are paying also have the ESO costs, the MO costs, let's say the TCN costs, that's the cost for transmitting the tariff to you. The tariff you are paying today also has it. So maybe you can see the dues as that. It helps you understand what we are saying. So he charges the full tariff, which has everybody's money, including the man, the Jacob he got the energy from, just like a disco. So the retail is like a disco, only that it plays below the medium voltage level. So the open access that we spoke about earlier is a situation whereby in no distant time we'll have a lot of retail companies, so that the main distribution company, as we know today, Manpower, might now even move fully to the medium voltage level, and then you have a lot of players at the retail level, and then you have that competition that you have been aiming for. So he pays the dues as a component. So this methodology covers it, and he also highlighted that just like distribution tariff, every distribution tariff on our state, it recovers all the costs. So our methodology uses the cost of service, which adapts the approach of building blocks. So it means that we actually build up from the costs to the tariff, and not from the tariff to the cost. So you can put it simple, not from answer to question. So move from question to answer. So we build up. So the same approach is what we are using on the duos. So let's go to the next slide. So yes, duos. So duos also have revenue requirements. That's what we call it too. Just like the mainstream tariffs that you may be conversant with, the duos also have the same components. Just a few other components are left out. So here, like I said, it's simple. We have only three revenue requirements, only three components. We have the operation and maintenance costs. We have the return on capital. We have the depreciation cost. So the duos is all about the cost of the medium voltage company, the cost of using the medium voltage company's assets. That's what duos is about. So duos is not about the tariff of the ERC. I have explained that earlier. The tariff of the ERC is like the distribution tariff. So ERC, so the FIT people have already applied for, I think they are maybe a second submission. So we are on their tariff currently. So these costs listed are the costs of the medium voltage company. Unfortunately, the major company we have in that listing is not, they are not here today. But duos is about medium voltage company and how they will recover all their costs. So the operating and maintenance cost is the cost for operating and maintaining the line that the ERC will use to transmit and deliver electricity to the reference area. So the operation and maintenance costs of that line. So if it's a feeder, let's say it's a 33 kV feeder, the cost for operating and maintaining the line. So the return on capital is also another type of cost we're recovering for the disco. So and that is the return on the investment. So they have already made, the line exists, they have already made the investment, which becomes their regulatory asset base. So we have the return on investment. So we already have a mechanism for that on the tariff methodology using our WACC. So you can take a look on our tariff methodology. And you can see the gearing ratio there too. So weighted average cost of capital. For recovering the return on whatever investment that we made on the line. And then we also have the next one, which is the depreciation costs. So you can see the depreciation cost also as a return of capital, which is the replacement value, and also at the same time the repayment of the principal of whatever or capex. So we had some of the feedback we got was somebody asking, how will you, if in case you borrowed, he was asking us an ERS across because the duos is supposed to recover the cost for these schools, not for the ERC. The ERC already has the full tariff, and there are some components there recovering its cost. So the depreciation cost but return on capital has some a little rigorous calculations. So you see how the work plays out with your asset base, and then the depreciation also. Speaking of energy, this is where I think we should pay a little attention, because we gave it a very deep thought. So in a real case scenario, the feeder that is transmitting energy to FIT, because they are licensed already now, so we can use them, also have other areas that is also being used to transmit energy by the distribution company. So the question is, how do we know the energy that is for the ERC? That's one. Two is, how do we know which costs, out of these three costs, how do we determine the portion that should be recovered for the medium voltage? Because if it's a very long line, the ERC is not going to be the one paying for all the just like if you have a spot, or in a space, maybe let's say a warehouse, and there's a total charge, you want to find out how much you should pay based on the space you are taking in the warehouse. So they shouldn't put the whole rent on you, because there are other people who are also taking spaces in the same warehouse. So similar to what I'm trying to describe. So the line transmits all the energy. Now the ERC has been contracted, let's say 10 megawatts, and it's also transmitted through that line too. So what we have done is also simple. It's similar to the delineation of that line, where we calculate the percentage of the energy of the ERC on the total energy on the line. That's straightforward. So if you mean that 10 megawatts is over 100 megawatts transmitted total on the line, so it means is it 10%? So it means it's 10%. So it means that the RAM, the regulator asset base, 10% of it is what the ERC tariff recovers, pays as goes. Same thing for return on capital, same thing for depreciation. So if you look at our model, you will also see it too. So this is so that nobody is shortchanged. The ERC is fine, and the medium voltage company is also fine. So that's the apportionment that I wrote there. I wrote that grammar and took a look at it again and didn't know whether it actually conveyed the desired message. But if you did it, I guess you understood it from me directly now. That's just the percentage apportionment of the energy. Now, we also got feedback on loss. Somebody says, what about the loss? I think what I explained earlier covers it. The loss is borne by the ERC. In this sense, the ERC is the distributor, while the medium voltage company is the one who owns the asset he uses to distribute. So automatically, already, the losses of delivering electricity in the state have already been covered in the main tariff. So there's no question about that. So the ERC gains whatever incentive it carries, while the medium voltage company receives his full costs as the wire owners or the asset owners on that. So that's what we have done on the duos. I think this is basically it. If we have, that's the end of the presentation. I can't believe it. I thought I still had 3 more slides to do. So, if we have, are we taking questions on this one?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So we have a lot of ERC people here to do justice to our questions
So please let me just make a remark. Again, to put things in context, we are looking at the medium voltage distribution companies like our local TCM to this extent. And you know, distribution by its nature is it has have wires running side by side parallel to each other. Even in above power, where you have above power and then you have EEDC, see you find that there is some distance they are not allowed to run, and even in jobs where you have Nesco and just Disco, you don't have wires running all over the place. So to make sure that the monopoly position of the Disco is respected, there are assets which are sunk assets. They need to get a return on whatever is to make sure that nobody.
Just remember what I forgot to remember it. It's also necessary to mention that the ring-fence area, the only infrastructure there, is owned by the retail company, because he now gets a license to, to construct, own, operate, and maintain everything within that area. And to answer the question Madam asked in the beginning of the she's not here anymore. In the beginning of whether the tariff will be cheaper. So I want us to know that it's not so appropriate to use the word affordable for tariffs. That's one. Two, whether tariff will be cheap is relative. It's relative. Then, thirdly, the ERC tariffs has the potential to be cheaper. Let me explain. If you look at the distribution company's tariff, it has all sorts of things, especially when they are still buying from the grid. It has all sorts of things, including facilities, loans, incentives. Everybody's money is on that tariff. But when an ERC comes on board, ERC borders with fewer things. Borders mainly about the generation tariff. So if the ERC contracts power from a GENCO, that is not, that is in the state. So he transmits, so he's just bothered about the generation price. Then you can get another price is the ERC bothered about. The transmission price, which is the tools, and which is as expensive as the existing assets in the area. I'm not an engineer, but I don't know how many times you need to do a good investment on a 3 kV line that will, new investment bring, single cost increase, because of our forest. But you can see that I've only mentioned two costs. So the next cost is the cost of constructing and maintaining the infrastructure in the first area. So you see it's finished. So the taxes are there. In comparison with the medium voltage company existing in the States. That's why I said do not refer to tariffs as affordable or cheap unless you are doing a comparison. So to answer the question straight is that it has all the potentials because the cost.
We are only looking at restricting to the generation costs and what the ERS will involve in terms of distribution to the retail end. But also there are contractual costs that is inevitable on the DISCO that Without those contractual costs, the disco will not exist. Those contractual costs do not arise voluntarily. It's a result of being in that business. So if you remove those contractual costs, you will now realize that there will be no incentive for this open access to work smoothly. So how do you address that? Thank you.
Before you stop, can you give an example of contractual costs?
Like the loan we are talking about, there's something to do. So if there are some contractual costs like loan, other costs, like you know them, they do not exist voluntarily that the existing will incur them. It's a result of being in that business. So they are bearing those costs because they're that business. So they're already contracted costs. So if you eliminate them, it's that we don't incentive. Yeah, as much as we want to remove those barriers we want to remove them. It's good to remove those barriers. But they're incidental. Thank you.
Okay, so I think I understand what you're asking. So let's go back to when I was discussing these three components. The slide before this. I don't know. Okay, so if you look at these costs, well, so if there are contractual costs, like give example loan, let's say names, and it was utilized on the line that we're talking about. It's also the investment on that line is also covered as if it's now existing as RAB or as a new capex. So whatever costs that went into the line is recovered here, whatever they are. And if you have seen our model is so detailed in accounting for what has been done. What the model is also stopping anyone from doing is to apportion a cost of a disco, a general cost of a disco, on another area, on the ERC operating on another line. That's what we carefully took care of while they looked at the model. So if you look at our model accounts for that. So if your line bore all those kinds of liabilities, loans, whatever they are, if you see components on our model where you put it, and because the ERC is not the only operator using the line to deliver electricity, whatever that cost is, he gets a portion based on the energy it is transmitting to the area. I hope that's clear. So it accounts for whatever they are, and nothing is left out. So the ERC, okay, maybe I should stop there. There was a point I was trying to also make, maybe before we finish the questions, I will remember it, and also make it it's directly tied to this. So in summary, all the costs, whatever they are, but they have to be on that line. You cannot pick a cost from any other part of the distribution network and then put it on the ERC. Okay, so I remember the point. CapEx. You know that this is just like talking about make that investment.
Regulatory instruments, whether it be the off-grid or whether it be the dual. Regulatory instruments, whether it be the off-grid or whether it be the dual framework that were put forward. In that were put forward. In that way,
MC. Thank you very much.
Okay, I think another round of applause for the thank you very much, everyone. I don't know if we have any questions online. So we don't have any questions online, and we don't have any questions in the room. So I believe we will still be taking feedback on both consultations, on both the upgrade regulation and also the doers guidelines and models. But in the absence of no further questions, we will be taking the closing remarks from the chairman. Okay. Okay, so we'll take both of them from the commission. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon one more time, everyone. On behalf of the Commission, I'm giving this vote of thanks. And specifically, we want to express our gratitude to GIC for affording us this opportunity to be here this afternoon. We also want to thank the EMRC for the beautiful job they have done on the draft regulation. Most importantly, too, we want to thank the participants, the people that came, the industry operators, for coming here to share their thoughts and ideas with us. It is well appreciated and is consistent with the vision of the Commission to always be transparent in all that we do. We always engage at all times so that we will all be on the same page. So we appreciate your coming, all the thoughts you have shared with us. We also appreciate the people online for being part of this event, for the great ideas that they have shared with us. And we promise that we are going to take that in and come up with a very robust off-grid regulation as well as dual model. So thank you very much, and as you return to your destinations, on behalf of the chairman of the commission and the commissioners and staff of EERC, we want to say thank you so much and journey blessings. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Commissioner. I think now we will just take a group photograph and then we'll close from there. So you can, okay, you can please make our way to the front, please. All right, thank you everyone who attended the good ride of the service.
You can't take this off? Okay. Oh, you will. I think we can stay here. Let's please take it.
Come up, let's take the everyone.
Manuela, the consultant. Moving. Please. Where's that?
Alex. Okay.
That's all right.
And it's very tough.
There's space on the side. It's okay.
Can you?
Harrison, watch your back. Are you okay? It's on break.
So how will you join?
Yeah, one to swap.
So what did you have done by first and then